everyone and welcome back to Rar's Aisha. Today I have a very fun recipe. I celebrated my birthday a little over a week ago, and instead of doing a traditional cake, I decided to do something different. I made a jackfruit enchilada cake and it was delicious. I've been making this recipe for as long as I can remember. I think it's one of the first dishes I started doing right when I started cooking. So it's very near and dear to my heart. I've adjusted it over time to make it as good as possible. But let's go ahead and jump into the recipe. We're gonna start with a pot of water and a can of green jackfruit. You can find this on Trader Joe's for sure, but I've seen it inside the grocery store as well. We're just gonna bring that to a boil. I like to let it boil for at least 30 minutes, 45 minutes maybe to be safe. I just find the texture of the jackfruit really improves the longer that you boil it, and it tastes more chicken-like. So once we have our boiled jackfruit, we're gonna mash it. I'm just using a potato masher. So once the jackfruit's all nice and mashed up, we're gonna take a clean pan, add some olive oil in there, and we're gonna drop about half an onion diced into the pan. And we're just gonna let that fry a little bit until it starts to give off that beautiful aroma that you guys know I love. And then we're gonna add 4 cloves of garlic, also minced. And let that fry together a little bit, and before adding our mashed jackfruit. And we're just gonna fry this all together. Doesn't it look like chicken? It's crazy. This mix is so delicious. So I made an enchilada sauce before, so I was using some leftover enchilada sauce that I had. So to make it, I have 1 can of enchilada sauce, 6 ounces of tomato paste, 1 tablespoon of cumin with 2 chipotle peppers and Adobe sauce. And we're gonna you would just bring that up on the stove to a boil and lower it to a simmer for about 20 minutes. And then to this mixture here, we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of cumin and mix that together before adding 1 tablespoon of nutritional yeast. I also had some arugula in my fridge, and I thought the peppery taste of the arugula would go so good in this enchilada, so I added some of that into it, and it brought out a nice green color in it that usually wouldn't be in the enchilada, so I really enjoyed this. You could also substitute it for spinach, but I really loved the arugula in this. And then we're gonna add 1 tablespoon of ground oregano. So now we have all our ingredients to assemble our enchilada cake. I'm using a cheesecake pan to get the cake out easier. This of course is optional. You can just make something called like an enchilada lasagna and take it out of the pan that way. But since it was my birthday, I decided to do something a little bit special, and I really enjoyed how this turned out. So we're gonna put it on a layer of the enchilada sauce, and we're gonna cut some corn tortillas in half to make sure that the whole inside the pan is covered with these tortillas. So I'm just bordering the edge with these cut up tortillas. Then in the middle, I add 1 whole corn tortilla, and then I'm adding some sauce on top of it. Adding enough sauce is very fundamental. I found out there's been times where I didn't add enough enchilada sauce in the dish. So be very generous with your sauce. Now we're gonna add that jackfruit mixture, which was so good. And I'm gonna top it with some fresh cilantro. I don't know if this did anything. You don't have to do this. I just wanted a little pop of extra green when I bit into it. I love cilantro, so I always find reasons to put it in dishes all the time. So then we're gonna top it with some cheese. So I'm using the good stuff, follow your heart cheddar. You can find it at stores like Sprouts. I know Rayleigh's sometimes has it, Lucky's. Also, of course, Whole Foods. Now we're adding our second layer of tortillas, and instead of spreading out the sauce into the pan, I'm dipping the tortillas in the sauce first and then dropping them in there. And this worked really well to make sure that each side was coated. And then we're gonna top it, of course, with a little bit more enchilada sauce. and more jackfruit mixture, and cilantro. Now we're gonna add one more layer of the tortilla, another layer of sauce, and top it with cheese. Then we're gonna cover it with tin foil. Make sure that it's on there nice and tightly. And this will make sure that the cheese melts a little bit better and doesn't get burned in the oven. After our enchilada is dressed in its foil, we're gonna toss that into the oven for 35 minutes at 375 degrees. And after 35 minutes, we're actually gonna take that out and just take off the foil before popping it back in the oven. But doesn't it look delicious already? And it's not even done, so hold up. We're gonna toss it in the oven for 15 more minutes. And this is the final product. We need, of course, top it with some more cilantro, but this is one of my favorite recipes of all time. Every time I make it, it's always such a hit. It's a great crowd pleaser. And now the moment we've been waiting for, to turn it into a cake. So I slowly took off the side of the pan, and it actually stayed together really well. I was so happy, and it was super delicious. I let it cool down a little bit before I cut into it, just to make sure that the sides weren't spilling cheese, because if cheese was literally coming out of the side, you can see on the countertop there, but it's so cheesy. It does not taste vegan at all. It is a little bit lighter, of course, because we're using jackfruit instead of chicken. But if anything, it just means it's less calories, right? So I'm just cutting it like a cake. And for the final reveal, we're gonna slide with the slice out. It looks so cheesy. And it is a little delicate, so be careful. But honestly, it doesn't change anything. Still the best freaking enchiladas in the world, in my opinion. I love it. And this way you get a nice bite of everything. You get the layer of sauce, layer of cheese, with that beautiful jackfruit mixture. This is honestly one of my favorite recipes of all time, so please try making it and let me know how it goes. I guarantee it's gonna be a hit. If you're not a huge spice person, just lower the chipotle peppers maybe down to 1. This has a nice kick to it, I'm telling you. If you don't like spice, definitely lower the chipotle content. But anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit that notification bell. And let me know down in the comment section, where did you get your favorite enchilada dish that you've tried? Because honestly, I haven't found a place. This sounds really, really like self-absorbed, but I haven't had an enchilada that was better than this. So let me know how you guys like it. If you try making it, tag me on Instagram at @RaRitsAisha, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.